Hello.
I heard it's supposed to go up to 70 on Friday. I can't wait.
Oh, nice.
I took the day off from work, so I'm really excited.
Friday or today?
Friday.
Yeah, and then rain on Saturday. So
That's
Yep.
okay.
Again? It seems to happen all the Saturdays
It's every
now.
weekend.
Yeah.
But it's
they
not
don't know what's,
snow.
Good
Well,
day to
yeah.
do.
they
It'd be a
don't know
good
what's
day
going to
do
happen 10
taxes.
minutes from now. So
Oops. Oh, there we are.
Amy, you look like you have a halo around the back of your head from what's in back of you.
Here.
It's my mirror. And I did it before. I said I look like Madonna.
Yeah, you're very stylish.
Thank you. I have to sit in the right spot.
You're positioned perfectly. Just the right height. Everything's perfect.
I saw some last time, one of the guys in the recalc, I could see them kind of smiling. And then afterwards he said, was that a mirror behind you or a halo? Was I seeing a halo? So no, it's definitely a mirror. So it is 6:31. Should we, what do you think, Marilyn?
4, 5, 6. I think we're all set. We can do it.
Okay, everyone okay with me hitting record?
Yeah.
We're doing
All
that.
right.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
And then I'll do the captioning.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so
All right. It is 6:32 and we can convene our meeting because we have enough for a quorum. I will call the attendance. Jackie Behenna is here. You've got mute on, Jackie, but I saw you wave your hand. Barbara Carney. Yes. We still have Brenda Cashman on this list, Kevin. She's officially dropped out, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you getting the list from?
The town website.
Okay.
Joan Coco.
Yes, I'm here.
Jolyn Eck. Not here. Karen Fotino.
I don't see her either.
Nope, don't see her tonight. Not yet, anyway. Sally Hoyt. Not here tonight. John Parsons.
here,
Karen Panett.
Here.
Sandy Schaefer. Not tonight. Debbie Small. Yes,
Here.
thank you. Nancy Zimlack.
Here.
And me. Didn't put my own name on this list. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members. We're in business. Okay. All right. First order of business is get the agenda up. That's strange.
don't we usually acknowledge us in some way the person who anybody else who's on the screen?
Good point. We have Patty Munn.
Hi, yes, I live at Reading Housing Authority.
Hi, Patty.
Hi.
And that's it. Oh, we have Kevin and we have Amy. Is Mark coming tonight? Do you know, Kevin and Amy?
I believe he was. Last email got from, I think he said he was going to have to leave early.
Okay.
But-
I got I got an email from Amy saying there was a request to finish by 8:30, so we're gonna try our darndest.
Not by 8:30, just a suggestion if it could be to like an
Oh,
hour and a half, 2 hours.
By 8.
An hour.
By 8.
An hour and a half to 2 hours, just because it seemed to have been a couple late, long nights.
I
Okay.
think John wanted an hour, but
Well,
John keeps trying to convince us that we voted for an hour. It never happened.
yeah, it didn't, we never voted for it, but to take it for what it's worth, Jane Burns's rule were an hour. And if we started to go past 7:30, she would start apologizing and rush everything through. So
Yeah,
we
she did.
can only go for an hour. Oh, and I see at least one person putting their thumb up agreeing with me.
Yeah.
I would agree too. If only we could all agree on everything
Yes.
quickly, we'd be done in a heartbeat.
What I think she's doing is agreeing that that's the way it happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes, it did.
all right.
Okay, I'm not the only one, Marilyn.
No, I would like to have it be short too. So we will all make a concerted effort to be efficient. I'm trying to get to the agenda. There it is. Okay, call to order. We did that. Acceptance of minutes from February. Did everyone read the minutes?
Mhm.
And I had one point on it. And now I can't get back to here. Here we go. I've been on Zoom all day. My brain has fried. Forgive me. The notes indicate, Nancy, that we had agreed to form a subcommittee on the data, I think, and we raised the issue, but I don't think we actually created the subcommittee. And it boiled down originally to just a couple of us were going to meet with Amy, and then more people showed interest. And so it was agreed that we had to post a special meeting, but I don't believe that we formed a formal subcommittee. Does anyone else recollect anything on that?
Yeah.
And if we had, I think we would have had to have had a vote and call the roll and the whole 9 yards to form a subcommittee. Is that correct, Kevin?
yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't recall our doing that. I think it did come up as a possibility. In fact, I mentioned a subcommittee to do work on grants because there was an interest in that as well, but we don't have the number of people available who can do that right now. So I think that fizzled quickly. Nancy, you're muted. Nancy, you're muted. You're muted. There you are.
Can you tell me where that is in the minutes?
After the meeting, I can find it for you. I don't want to take time to go through now. They're
Okay.
excellent minutes, very detailed. All right, then we can, if there's no other discussion on it, I can call the roll to accept the minutes. And again, I just have to call full members, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Barbara Carney? We can't hear you, Barbara, you're muted. You're muted.
Am I unmuted now?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay,
Do you accept the minutes?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Joan Coco,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes,
Sandy still isn't here. Debbie Small,
Yes,
Nancy Zimlack,
Yes,
and I say yes as well. So minutes are accepted with the one possible correction on the subcommittee. Thank you. All right, next packet, Elder and Human Services update. Congratulations, Amy. We really appreciate having real numbers. This is exciting. We're getting there. Do you want to tell us the highlights? Or anything else you need to share about Elder and Human Services?
You're
Jeez.
muted, Amy.
Okay. So, yes, I have a list of stuff to go over. So Kelly Coughlin has left the senior center. So the senior center coordinator position is open and has been posted again.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yay that it's posted, not yay that Kelly left.
yeah, it was, it was a lot of people. I left it up to Kelly and how she wanted to handle it because she had been there for 3 years, and she had just decided. It just became a lot. So we have that posted. So we're hoping to, be filling that soon. So in the meantime, I'm going to be covering. But the good news is, on the bright side, we are adding some new things in April. We're going to try to redo the birthday lunches. The tentative date I have for that is April. I think it's Tuesday, April 21st. I meant to just double check. April 19th, sorry. April 19th, we're going to redo the birthday lunches. I understand that was a Council on Aging sponsored event, and they used to have, I think, volunteers pick up the cake and serve. So if that is something, that would be great. We can get to that later if you want. Okay. We're adding pizza and a movie. We're going to be doing a trip to Rockport, a day trip. We are doing coffee with the town manager. That's at the very end of March, so that won't get on. I'm going to send out a flyer for that. The tent will be back at the very end of March. We've added a wellness program, a bereavement group, and then there's also, we were looking to do either a monthly COA coffee or tea hour. So we can talk about that. The other thing I wanted to ask everyone was, does anyone need dementia-friendly training? If so, you can let me know, because Carrie and Elise are trained champions and they can train other people. So we're trying to get more than just myself. So if anyone's interested, if you want to email me or let me know so I could let them know, and then we can pick a date. And that is it for us.
That's fabulous.
Well,
On the dementia front, I think you'd find there are quite a few of us who have been through the training. We're not necessarily certified to train others, but quite a few of us have gone to the training at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
well, I think what I'm asking is if anyone, I think it's, I don't know how often, if it's every year, if you have to be certified, but
Wow.
I haven't been the champion. It's dementia-friendly training in Reading. So Carrie and Elise both got their training to teach.
Great.
So if there is anyone who wants it, just let me know.
Did the town hall ever succeed in scheduling their training?
Select board did.
Select board did. Full select board's trained.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's fabulous news, Amy. That's just wonderful.
So if there's anyone who could volunteer, or that would be great, especially now that Kelly is gone. And a couple people responded, well, why are you adding it if someone's gone? And my point was, people have been waiting long enough. So
What is the actual position, Amy?
It's the senior center coordinator, and it was posted on Thursday, and it's part-time. Yeah, part-time, 8:30 till 1:30, Monday through Friday.
Okay, I have a friend in town that might be interested, so I just wanted to be able to give her a little heads up.
Oh, okay. It's on the town's website.
Okay, great.
Yeah, great.
And I'm also a champion, Dementia Friend champion.
Oh,
so
that's
I've been
right.
trained.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
It just, as a point of information, I've been trained as well.
Okay, great.
Amy, I'll do the training if you set it up when you set it
Oh,
up.
okay, Karen. Perfect. I'll add, thank you.
The birthday cake, can that be, well, can it be picked up the evening before, or does it have to be picked up the day of the 19th?
I'm assuming the day, I don't, I mean, normally when I get a cake, it's,
The day?
I think before, but,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help
I
you.
could
with the
pick it
19th.
up.
Okay,
oh, Barbara, that would be
Yes.
great. That would be great. Thank you so much. I can get in touch
Mhm.
with you about details. We appreciate
Okay.
it. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that.
then you still need some extra hands to help cut it up and serve it, is that correct, Amy?
Yes.
I can help cut it up too.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You have to stay to help eat it.
I can probably come down and help too, Amy.
Okay, is that you, Karen?
Yep.
Thank you. That would be perfect.
And are you doing it, what time of day are you doing it? Do you
We're
know?
doing it at, I believe it is 12 o'clock, 12:30. I have it on. I was doing the pleasantries today because it's due tomorrow. So
Okay.
I
if you
had
do-
that on another screen. What was that?
Okay, if you're doing it at lunchtime, I can, let me just double check. Can't find my calendar. Now, I'll have to check my work calendar, but if it's at lunchtime, I can probably help cut and serve as well for about 45 minutes. I'll let you know after I check my work calendar, but
Okay, great. We're hoping to,
they have to let me
just-
eat.
what was that?
They have to let me eat, so.
Oh, yes, they should. So we're looking to do lunch, but that will bring me to the requesting of funds. So I don't know if that, I can hold off on asking for that until later. I don't know what it's scheduled.
You could do it now if you want to.
Okay,
You're on a
we are
roll.
looking, really nice. We are looking to do because we don't have Mystic Valley, we're looking to do a very simple green tomato, similar to the picnic we had, lunch. And I went in there actually tonight, and so it would be about I ran some numbers, it would be around, we're saying 25 people at $12 plus the birthday cake plus water, would be a $500 request for birthday lunches.
Okay. You need somebody to put it on?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
Want to
right,
do it,
Marilyn?
John, or you want me to do it? I propose
Motion.
$500 for birthday lunches.
I second it.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? No?
Thank you very much.
We
Oh,
need-
I should
we
wait.
need-
Wait a minute, we have to vote, Amy.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh,
vote, Amy.
okay, so I won't be presumptuous.
Okay, and just clarification, would this come from the Burbank Fund? That's my guess.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, it would be the Burbank Fund.
so we have a motion to spend up to $500. That's what you asked for the birthday
Yes.
fund from Burbank. All right, I'll call the roll. Barbara Carney,
Yes.
Joan Coco,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes.
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack,
Yes.
and me, yes. All right, so it's approved 100% unanimous.
Thank you very much. Now I will say thank you. You've made a lot of people happy, and I think everyone will be very happy because they've been looking forward to that in trips. So we'll have some happy people. Thank you very much. That is it for me.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Oh, did you want to talk at all about your numbers?
It's up to you guys. I don't know.
The
If anyone
The one question I had is, are those numbers total year to date?
Well, we were opened in June,
Right.
so I broke it down in two different, whatever.
It looked like they were fiscal year totals, but I wasn't sure.
It was, let me just look what I had sent. Yeah, it was from June. I did one per month and then I did it accumulated from June to March.
Great. All right, so we can, now that we can get them, we can start tracking and get a sense of where there's the demand, you know, what's interesting people. So starting to have real live data again, it's very exciting.
Happy to help.
We really appreciate it. I know it wasn't a simple thing, and you didn't have instructions, but we.
Oh no, that's okay.
We
It's
appreciate
cool learning.
we appreciate the persistence.
Thank you.
All right, then financial report, and thank you, Kevin, for bringing back the financial report. Another one we haven't seen in quite a while. Do you want to comment on where things stand? I know, and I'll sort of put your head together with Mark's. Mark you'd sent me an email saying we had about $17,000 in interest available to spend if we stick to the spending interest philosophy of life. And I was trying to reconcile that with Kevin's financial statements, and I couldn't, which is not to say they're wrong. It's just I got lost in the math. You have any commentary on that, Kevin, that could help us?
Again, I don't have the calculations on the interest. I mean, if you look at I think on the Burbank Fund, if you look at that, you can see where the FMVADJ is fair market adjustment. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down.
Yeah.
So it is all invested. I do not have a calculation on what the interest is, but
Okay.
I think we're safe to keep spending.
Yeah, that's clear. Mark, do you have any idea? Did they just give you the 17,000 from the trust committee, or where'd that number?
So it looks to me, based on, I have balances from March 9th. It looks like there's income of 13,714.
Is that just Burbank, or is that everything?
That's just Burbank.
Okay.
So I'm looking at, so there's investment income of 13,714 on the Burbank. There are expendable balances in 3 accounts that I can see. The Avis Schroeder has 16,061 expendable. There's one called Patron for Older Adults, maybe other folks. Okay, so that has expendable of 29,840.
Okay.
In the Burbank, I was only giving you the investment income, but the total balance, in that account. Oh, actually, sorry, I read you guys the wrong. No, July 2021. Sorry, I read you July balances. The Schroeder has 17,480 expendable.
Schroeder does. Okay.
Yep. The Patron for Older Adults has 37,349 expendable.
I'm sorry, what was the number again?
37,349. And the Burbank's a little bit harder to read, but the investment income, I just don't know over what period of time, but it's less than a year, is 13,714. There have been some expenditures of 3,253.
Yep, that number I found.
Yep. So, and then, you know, as we've discussed, the total amount of that is actually expendable per the trust.
Right.
It's just a function of Council on Aging policy.
Right, I understand.
And those are the 3 accounts. That's as of 3/9. Sorry, that's the best I can do.
Okay, no, it gives us an idea, and certainly we're not close to having exhausted any of it. But it's great to have the numbers, and with the things we're starting to do, we'll start seeing the money getting used the way it was intended, hopefully. And thank you both. All right. Back to the packet and finding this. Sorry, I'm trying to juggle things around on the screen. Not very successfully here. Back to the agenda. There we go. And turn it around again. All right. The next item is the Select Board Liaison Report. Do you have anything to report from the Select Board, Mark?
Hey, folks. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. So a couple things. One is at the last recalc meeting, the group authorized John O'Neill, the chair, to put together a presentation for the Select Board. It's on the agenda for next Tuesday night at about 9:30. And there is also a plan to have the information of some sort in the town meeting warrant. There's a report. The reports are only in writing. So something is going to be probably translated from that Select Board report to be made available to all of town meeting.
Okay.
The Kevin, I don't want to steal your thunder, and I don't know if you already went. Sorry, because I went.
Oh, go for it. Go for it, Mark.
So a bunch of things. One, I know that Recalc is pleased to be working so closely with the COA, so that's great. There is going to be a lot of progress soon, and Kevin knows this a lot better than I, so he's going to tell you about that. But I think the big deals right now are the Select Board asked Recalc to come back before town meeting, so that'll be 3/23, which is kind of an update on process, if you will. And the two process things going on are benchmarking a variety of other senior centers, and John and Marilyn and Nancy are all involved in that as well. And then there'll be the gathering of input from the town, and that is to come over the next few months. And Kevin will have kind of more info on that. I think that's kind of what's going on. Oh, so at the Trust Commission meeting, Trust Commissioners meeting, there was a little bit of discussion about the, what are they called? The buttons, the emergency buttons, in terms of the program to see what might be possible.
Lifeline Alert.
Lifeline.
Thank you. Yeah, Lifeline Alert. So I think that the discussion was for the in-home versions. The feeling was that, you know, that program should kind of continue as is. If there are folks that need the cellular version that would qualify, then I think that the commissioners would like to hear from those folks as to why they need that particular version.
Do we have a way of letting people know it's something that the trust fund is interested in hearing from them?
I think we can probably do that through the liaison is going to be the best way. So I think that's more through the center directly. So maybe Amy, you and staff may be the better conduit for that information. I think what's going to be important is to kind of understand why someone needs that version. I think that's what the commissioners were interested in hearing.
So they're not looking for particularly requests. They're looking for people just to plead the case for it in general. Is that what they want? Is there a decision that if someone writes a letter and they've got, you know, documented medical need for it, that it's available, or are they just willing to consider it if that happens?
I don't think there's a rule. I think that they're willing to consider it.
Okay, John, you've got your hand up.
I just was going to ask Mark what you kind of started to ask him. I'm not sure anybody absolutely needs one of the buttons that works remotely, but people would just kind of like it or think it important if they're working in their yard, working in their driveway, talking to their neighbor across the fence, just to have it, but that wouldn't be a proven need. So I'd like to hear a little bit more of what they really consider to be a need.
So actually, can I suggest much better to turn that one around? I think that if the council or others have a position on, hey, there's an important need for these, and here's why, that's the way to bring it forward. I think in the other direction, it's going to be more arbitrary. I think it's much better to say, here's the reasoning for using these, the discussion of, people not just being indoors. I think that's the right way to do it. That'd be my suggestion on how to take it forward.
That sounds logical.
So as a next step, would it be for us to write a letter to the trust? And
So I
say
think
the Council on Aging recommends that we do this?
I think that being specific about kind of the what's and the whys and what it accomplishes is going to be more persuasive than just kind of saying we think it's a good idea.
And also, can I just add, so Marilyn, Carrie Valley, she handles the Reading response. And I had a talk with her today. I was going to ask her to come on tonight, but I figured, we can just hold off. But she oversees all of Reading response. So she also has been getting a lot of referrals. Today alone, she's received 4 new Reading responses. So that's a good sign, because Reading, the fire, police, library have all been instructed to refer them to Kerry. So if we have some conversation, like I'm learning so much from her, she would be a great resource to have I would like to include her in whatever we decide.
Do you think that I'm assuming, I shouldn't even assume. I guess we need to get a pulse on whether people believe we need the GPS one. I personally do. I mean, I've fallen on my driveway, and if I weren't lucky enough for someone to see me and I was there in the ice, I'd be there till the mailman came the next day. It wouldn't have been a pretty sight. And it's the sort of thing you don't know about it until this happens. It's not that I'm unhealthy or anything. It's that I'm almost 70 and I'm kind of klutzy, and I slipped and fell on my driveway. So it's a hard thing, and it's supposed to be a preventive thing. It's not a curative thing. It's supposed to prevent people from perishing because of these kinds of things, frankly.
She has a whole list of questions and stipulations of what to ask, and has been trained in that.
Okay.
So I think that would maybe be a separate conversation. Not that I'm trying to hold it back, but I just
I understand.
I want to include her in that.
Might she be willing to come and do a presentation to us next month?
She would be.
So we understand?
Yep. Absolutely.
That would, I think that would be helpful. And then maybe at that point, if there's a letter to be written, we could use the meat of what she's taught us to formulate the letter. It's a plan.
That sounds good.
I see a thumbs up. Okay. All right. We'll put her on the agenda for next month then. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let her.
I just had a question. I had my hand up.
I'm
Is
sorry.
there a significant difference between the two if we only went with the home version versus the GPS one? Is cost a significant factor in it?
Nancy, I
Yes.
see you raising your hand. You're muted, Nancy.
Stupid thing. It comes out to about $1,000 a person for the GPS component. So you'd have to think about that in terms of, how many would want it, what's in the funds, how necessary is it for the person requesting? Is it nice but not necessary? But it is about $1,000. It's substantially more expensive than the non-GPS.
So usually in my experience with my home care patients, the difference between the two is that the GPS is for when you're outside of your perimeter of your home. So the regular ones will work up to like 300 feet or something like that. So in that instance, in your driveway, you should be fine. Or if you're out in your backyard, you should be fine. But past that, not so much. So that's I think that's probably part of those questions that Carrie has, like
Mm.
how often are you out and things like that. So that's something to consider as well.
John, is your hand up again, or did you just not take it down?
No, it's up again. I think maybe some of the older units, which I have, don't even work with a 300 foot or 300-yard radius outside the house. I think they strictly work inside the house, although I could be wrong.
It could be part of like the firewalls of wherever you live. It could be a lot of things. And frankly, if you have an older unit, whoever you have it through, maybe contact them and tell them you want a newer unit and see if that helps that situation also. Because they have been updated recently.
And again, maybe Carrie can bring us up to speed on this, Amy. And I don't know what the town's process is once they subsidize this for someone, if they keep track of who's got what model, and if they send out updates to people saying, by the way, you could upgrade, just like we're all getting bombarded for our cell phones or from the Comcast and AT&T and everybody now. If she can help us understand how this all works.
I could go out my driveway and push the button and see if ambulances and fire engines and police cars show up. That's one way to test it.
My sister had it and accidentally hit it, and they called back within 1 minute. They were so quick. And I know that when she actually did need to use it once, and she was like at the driveway, and they said it was like if she was any further, they wouldn't have been able to hear her. So Jackie, you made sense with that. And Carrie can clarify, I'm sure. But Marilyn, I don't think it would be the town. I think a lot of it is she would direct people. I know this has come up, and to call Lifeline themselves. Like the town wouldn't have a list of who has what models.
Okay.
I don't think that would be on like Philips.
Okay, so it's like a one-time thing. The town purchases the equipment for them. Is that it, or reimburses them?
They're all leased, I believe.
They're all leased. All right. Well, we can get into the details next week, but if she could help us understand how all this works, so we can know what questions to ask. That's all.
Okay, next week or next month?
Next month. Sorry.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I know she's.
No, I'm brain dead. I've been teaching all day, and my brain is gone. So.
That is quite all right.
All right, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Any other questions on that before we go forward? No? Okay. We got some of the recalc update was that, and Mark, and I know you kept apologizing to Kevin if you were stealing his thunder or John's thunder for that matter. Is there more thunder to come on recalc?
Well, really just we spent a lot of time. We're going to the select board on John O'Neill is on the next Tuesday, the 22nd. I hope he'll be presenting. He has a previous commitment in the evening. That's why it's at 9:30. So we can take a nap and then get up and watch him.
Okay.
Some of us can.
There was discussion. Jean had said there would be a joint meeting with the Council on Aging, and she talked about March 30th, and that the UMass would be there as well. This would be the first of our opportunities to be involved. Is that still scheduled for that?
Yes, I saw your email just before the meeting. So,
so
I'll coordinate posting a Council on Aging meeting.
Okay, and for everyone's information, UMass is going to be meeting with the recalc committee, and we were offered to do another joint meeting with them so that the Council on Aging could also be there with UMass to be specifically, as I understand it, focusing on the survey, what they're going to ask, how they're going to do it, and basically to find out what their plan is and to have input ourselves. And as Kevin just mentioned, you'll be getting an invite. That'll be a special meeting on March 30th. And I hope as many of you as possible can attend. It's one of our golden opportunities to be there in the beginning rather than trying to change minds if we have a difference of opinion or, advice to offer later. Now is a good time to get in on it if we can. And I trust we'll be impressed. I mean, they've done a lot of work for us in the past, so. it's a good sign of moving forward, frankly. It's pretty exciting.
And the other big thing that happened at Recalc, we split up, and I think 21. We're going to be doing 21 center visits, whether they be senior centers or multi-generational community centers, kind of within probably a 50-mile radius. People that have been through the process that we're starting to go through. Hopefully learn from them what went right, what went wrong, and try not to make the same mistakes if we can.
So is this meeting in person or is it on Zoom? Or is it in the senior center if it's in person?
I
Where
think
is
it'll still be Zoom
Okay,
at this point.
all right.
If I could make a comment on the subject, I think it might be important for the council to stress the need to be sure that everybody in the household gets a survey. There seemed to be a little bit of question about whether it would just get sent to a household or what we could do to be sure if there's 2 seniors in a household or any 2 people anyway, even in town, that they both get a copy. If my wife was still alive and we were filling one out, I could see the difference right now.
No, I think that's an excellent point, John. And I can also see if you've got parents, for example, living with you that, they can't live on their own anymore, or you didn't want them to, and they didn't want to, the middle-aged adults might have different opinions about what the elder adults need because they're filling a lot of the gaps than the elders might say. They might say, yeah, my daughter's taking care of that, no problem. But daughter who's holding down a full-time job and who knows what else and has her own kids may have a different opinion on some of it. So I totally agree with you, John. They need either separate surveys or there need to be separate sections of the surveys for every adult in the household.
Yeah, we'll make sure that there's plenty of information out there on how people can get paper copies if individuals don't want to do it on a computer. Or
I think Jean said that. Actually, I'm sure she said the plan is to send paper copies to every household.
Right, but there'll be if people need additional copies, there'll be
ways to get more.
Various locations.
Yeah, great.
So people can get them.
Look who's here. Is that Sally Hoyt on the horizon?
That's Sally Hoyt.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, how are you?
Great. It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
I know. I haven't been able to get on Zoom, and my grandson finally got me on just a few minutes ago.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, you're almost up on the agenda, Sally. So
I saw it on the agenda because I did get a copy of the agenda.
Well, it's great to have you here.
But can you believe at this milestone? I can't believe it.
I know. Congratulations. We're not quite there yet, but you're very close. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, so we finished our recalc update. Dementia friendly. Debbie, do you want to talk about that? You go to the meetings, don't you? And Karen Panette, you go as well, don't you? No, Karen, Jackie?
Well, they're not really having the meetings because they lost Megan because she got a full-time job. So they're actually on hold.
Okay.
They're looking for someone to, the DKJ Foundation is still willing to fund that position, but they haven't found anyone yet. So if anyone knows of anybody that would like a part-time job of promoting dementia friendly in Reading, we'd be happy to have them get in touch with us.
Great.
And how would they do that? So I can put it in the minutes?
Off the top of my head, I don't know Bruce's phone number. So if you wanted to give them my information, then I can give it to them, or I can give you the information so that you can put it in the minutes at a later time, whichever.
Okay.
You know, you can have them reach out to me. I'm on the committee, so I guess that would be just as easy. So you can have them reach out to Debbie Small, and
Okay.
my phone number is 781-640-9951.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Debbie, for that update. Funding requests, I think we've already covered. Okay, we're on to new business. Trust fund expenditure policy review. That's, I titled it that, but what I meant by that was to talk about the things you wanted to talk about, Mark. You asked us to put it on the agenda to review, in particular, our policy of only spending the interest on Burbank, I believe is what you asked me to put on here, correct?
Correct. So thanks. So just a couple of thoughts in terms of how or why this is here. So Recalc is set up largely to talk about some of the longer term needs and solutions to more services, more facilities, and again, seniors and potentially multi-generation also. We know that there are also some short-term needs, and a lot of the short-term needs we've been funding through, modest expenditures and things like that. One of the questions that I think will, as we move forward with Recalc and then move to town meeting, will be if we come back and say, what makes sense is a new facility or additional facilities, and there's a substantial cost involved. Obviously, most of the funding for that is either going to come from town meeting or finding grants and other things, which is something we absolutely have to do also. And the reason I asked you to bring this up, Marilyn, as an item is to think about whether or not more of the Burbank Fund might make sense to use for a specific activity, perhaps as the library did in putting in furniture and fixtures and things once there was a new building established and paid for by the town. And I'm not suggesting that there's any change in policy required today, but to start thinking about the possibility of utilizing a little bit more of that fund. It's grown somewhat over time, not because we're using the earnings, so it hasn't grown a ton, but it's a substantial balance, and it may be an opportunity to do certain things down the road. So that's the reason why I thought it would make sense to think about it. I didn't initially know it was a Council on Aging policy that was limiting the use of it, but it is. Mm-hmm. So I just ask that members give that some thought, over the course of the next, several months or potentially a year. Just to add one quick thing, I did chat a little bit with the town manager about exploring some other short-term space possibilities, just as he's having discussions around town with various groups, just to kind of plant that seed in his head a little bit. And he was very receptive to including that in his discussions. So that's the reason I asked you to bring it up.
Fabulous, thank you. And just as a historical point, I think the first year I was on the council, which was 2013 or 14, I've forgotten. But Jane, one year, early on in my life with this council, did mention that, if we changed our policy on that, we could buy a whole new building. And at that point in time, we probably could have with the money. Well, at that point, you could do pretty well with, $500,000. And if we liquidated these things, we'd be pretty close. But anyway, opportunity long gone. But thank you, Mark, for mentioning it. As I think I'd said in the email back to you, that it has come up several times. And I think for lack of a specific thing that we could jump on board and say, there's no question long-term, that would be of great value to the seniors. We've hung on to spend the money on, the things that we have each year with the interest only. But thank you for reminding us, though, it's an opportunity when the time comes, if we could make the difference and get a big plaque saying we did it with this trust fund. It's something certainly would be worth discussing. Any questions? Oh, John's got his hand up.
Isn't Burbank quite restricted as to what we can spend it on? Which is the one that's so restrictive then?
It's got to be one of the other two.
I was looking at the summary sheet again today, trying to remind myself. Schroeder is interest only, and it's for outreach work. So if and when we get to do some outreach again, I think Schroeder's where that will come from. Burbank, from the summary that was written up, I did not see anything limiting what it goes to, but I have to believe there is more to that, and it just isn't in the summary. No, there's nothing
No,
more?
it's very unrestricted. It's for the benefit of seniors as determined by the Council on Aging, period.
Okay. So that's
Somewhere in the back of my mind, I thought there was one that we could only use for medical reasons.
we
Hospital
don't
trust.
Hospital
we-
Trust Fund.
Yeah, we don't manage that one, John.
Okay.
And the third one, the Permanent Elder Patrons for Older Adults Fund, part of it goes to a scholarship each year, which I believe the trust fund board hands out. And the rest is supposed to go to, or at least a good part of it, is supposed to go to an annual event to promote the social needs of elders. And this is something that we've been delinquent on through, I think, the pandemic, just for lack of ability to organize such an event of the magnitude that might be. But I have some suggestions. We're getting closer. And the world is becoming safe again. But that's what Patrons is about.
If I could just go back on that again, I can remember times when we wanted to spend money and Jane saying, well, we can't do it for that. We can't do it for that. Are you really, really sure Burbank's that unrestricted?
Yes, I read it and I brought it up twice to the trust fund commissioners to understand what it was. And I looped Marilyn in onto the discussion also. It is, we looked at the bequest and it's for the benefit of seniors. Maybe there are a couple of other words, but nothing in terms of restriction as determined by the Council on Aging.
And I think Sally was involved when it was accepted. And she might have been on the select board.
I wasn't prepared to do so because I wasn't sure to get on Zoom tonight.
Perfectly understandable, Sally. Maybe we can make it a homework assignment. If everybody could take another look at the documents for the Burbank, just to reassure ourselves that there are no restrictions. It would be a good exercise for everyone to take a glance. Yes, Nancy.
If you go back and if we can find the recording for when Beth came to do an overview of all the trusts for us, all that information will be in there too. And a lot of it should be in the notes for that meeting, whichever one it was.
I think it was either September or October, I believe.
Okay, just
And
a thought.
it should be in the minutes.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have them, Jane used to hand out this giant binder that had printouts, hard copy of all of the trust fund documents and numerous other things. And you might have hard copy sitting in that. Mine has disappeared. I don't know where, but it's all available online. And for newer people, I don't know, Amy, I think you'd mentioned you were going to look into starting to make those packets again. Maybe instead of the giant packets, we could just have a short list of website links to share with people so they can go read it online instead of taking down a forest every time we print one.
I can look into it. I mean, this agenda was, I think, 22 pages, so it would just be.
No, I understand totally, but you'd mentioned you were going to look into it. So when you do, I personally would recommend sending people links to the documents rather than making the massive notebooks that Jane used to put out. I think she probably sent it out and had a whole bunch done at once and got a bargain rate on it. But some of the stuff would be out of date. I mean, she used to put things in there like the contact information for everyone on the council as well. And obviously that would be out of date if you were to reprint what Jane had, things like that. Patty, were you raising your hand?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No.
Okay. All right. So we've covered the expenditure policy review. Honoring Sally Hoyt on her 100th birthday. Kevin and Amy, maybe you'd like to talk about this since you first brought this to my attention from Sally's letter.
Well, Sally brought it to our attention, and she would like to be able to see all of her friends and have all of her friends see her. August will be a nice time, and we can make the center available. You know, if the council wants to take the ball and run with putting this together. I think it's Sally initially mentioned the drive-by August. We should be able, with unrestricted, hopefully, please, we can meet in the center. And the tent will be up at the same time, so we could just make it into a nice community event.
Very much.
I think we'll need to wait, Sally, until we get a concrete proposal and we look into what we need to get together and have a, a proposal to spend, the money and approve it and all that to go forward. But I know personally, I would love to do that. I think that.
Yeah, I think Sally sent 2 emails. Like I said, the first one was a drive-by. The second one is to have a birthday cake on the senior center. We can open the building up, not a problem, on a weekend, and honor Sally.
Yes, that's to me.
I couldn't understand what you said, Sally.
No, I just simply answered Kevin. I said, it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be nice.
Lots of details to put together, but it'll be a nice event, Sally.
Well, thank you.
And we certainly appreciate your service to the town, in addition to honoring you for making it to 100 and a whole lot more, we hope. I know you've been in service to the town for decades. All right. The Pleasant Street staffing update. I think you already did that, Amy. Yes, check. All right. Then
One more item on that. We also advertised
a
substitute van driver. Paul Downing has said that, when the opportunity comes, he'd like to back off. His wife has some health issues and he'd like to spend more time at home. So if anyone knows, we'd like to actually hire 2 people. And again, it's on a per diem basis. There are no set hours, but it's a great position for retired firefighters, police officers, really anybody retired that would like to stay in touch with the community. So if you know anybody, tell them to put an application in.
all right. Thank you.
Is there a job description on the town website?
Yes, there is. Yep.
Okay.
Fabulous. All right. Then we have 2 more things. Ideas for trust-funded events. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this in the packet. This came mostly from Nancy and I brainstorm over coffee and text messages on a fairly regular basis. And I just put some of them together to share with Amy. Let me see if I can bring them up over here. My initial hope had been we'd get so organized we might have them ready for funding requests by tonight, but best intentions don't quite get all the way there. But I had an initial feedback from Amy on this and interest in it and suggestions for some meetings and things and tinkering that we could do. But if you turn to it in your packet, there are 4 ideas. The first of which is a tea party. There are restaurants that do a traditional English high tea, and they can be really fancy, fun events. There's a website there for a company that's in Belmont, Vintage Tea and Cake Company. I would enjoy it. I think a lot of other people would enjoy it. I have spoken to or written back and forth to them since I drafted this up for Amy and Kevin. They've reached out to me and they would be happy to host something in Reading. They have a minimum of 10, but no maximum. And they gave me pricing that I could talk about in general. Where is it? basically it's $30 per person. Well, they have two different packages depending on how many tea cakes and cucumber sandwiches and the whole 9 yards you get. But the more expensive of the two was $30 per person. And I, again, exchanged emails with Amy. And at the moment, Amy was thinking about 30 people is what can be accommodated in the big room. That's including staff. If we did that, for around $1,000, we could do this. I've also spoken to the library, and in contrast to the pre-pandemic age, they have lots of open bookable space there. And if you put the two meeting rooms together, in theory, it accommodates up to 100 people, but they told me that that's a little tight in the COVID world, but it could certainly handle 75. So if we could have a tea party for 75, I think that would certainly satisfy the elder patrons for older events, annual event to promote the social needs of elders. It could be one thing that could do it. And we could do that for about $2,200, just roughly. So, and again, these are just ideas I wanted to share with the Pleasant Street staff, center staff, so we could be talking about it. A catered lunch and learn, and actually Amy's got that in the works already, the first of them, so that's great. Another idea we had was a coffee social hour. And hang on, I need to plug my computer in or it's going to crash. Oops. It's back. Okay. We were thinking if any of the local establishments have times of the day that just aren't that busy, they might be willing to host a senior social hour. And the way it might work is to purchase gift cards from them that would cover, a cup of coffee and a muffin or whatever. And it would be in specific hours of the day, and the holders would be entitled to those things when they went in, as creating sort of a drop-in center environment. The cards could be distributed through the senior center, perhaps through Carrie, focusing on the people who might be most in need, who are really isolated, but through whatever system we came up with. It could be good for the establishments, because if this is done during hours of the day when they're not very busy, it's revenue for them. And it could be great for our senior centers, because as things stand, we don't really have a place where you can just come in, sit down with a cup of coffee and expect to have someone free and available to just say hello to you, and, perhaps make some new friends. So it's a thought. The other thought that we had was Zoom socializing. And this is something I've done a lot of during the pandemic. My college has had the most dramatic effect on me. They started doing monthly Zooms, and they were not very structured to begin with. It was just join us on a Zoom for an hour at this day at this time. And they broke us into breakout groups. And it's been wonderful, because I've met so many people that I would swear they weren't never in the same college I was in. 'Cause I had multiple jobs. I was a scholarship kid, and I had multiple jobs and 2 majors, and I didn't socialize very much. I worked really hard and had a very small group of very close friends. And I'm finding that many of the students there had the same experience. And we had a large class, and we're getting to know each other through these breakout groups. We've broken all the records for the college on Zooming. We never miss a month now. We've advanced to having guest speakers come. But it's just been a really valuable way, when people can't get out to see people and meet new people, to reduce the isolation. It's something we all look forward to, and there are new friendships that will endure, I'm sure, well past the reopening of everything. I've also been doing one through, it's called Healthy Habits, through the YMCA. And I met a nutritionist there, and I approached her about this because I found her to be really helpful. And I just bounced the idea off her. I mean, I wasn't offering her a position or anything, and she understands. I was just bouncing it off of her. She would be very interested and thought it was a great idea to do something like a half-hour talk on, nutrition after age 50, or how to lose the pandemic 15 pounds with better nutrition, or whatever we'd like, really. And it would be about a half-hour presentation that she'd be delighted to host. She's very good at Zoom. This has all been through Zoom. And then to break people into breakout groups so they can talk, meet people, socialize a little bit. I bounced that one off of Amy. Amy expressed interest in having Elise possibly meet with her because we have to be careful with giving nutritional advice, which I appreciate. But it could be any other topic as well. In addition, and Nancy's worked hardest on this, you've got a draft postcard in your packet. And Nancy, do you want to talk a little bit about your postcard?
Sure. It's an alternative to the first one that was presented. Instead of it focusing on programs, because there was a concern that because of the pandemic, we wouldn't be able to service the demand that might arise as a result of the postcard. It was mentioned at one of the recalc meetings that perhaps focusing on those services that don't require actual space might. So some of the Reading, to announce or to promote the Reading Response Program. It's also an opportunity to reach out to people, to let people know that recalc is coming, because I think the Council on Aging's responsibility, we have a large community of the 60 plus age group, and we need to let people know that this is happening. There's a concern that you don't want to do it too soon, but my concern is you don't want to do it too late, so that then what happens, the survey goes out and people just don't have any context for it. So it's an idea. There's now 2 different postcards that can be looked at and determined if the Council on Aging, if that's something that the Council on Aging wants to send out to people. So that's it.
Thank you, Nancy. I did some just really rough estimating of what it might cost if we did all of these things. And if we did it for just 30 people and stayed within the confines of the Pleasant Street Center, it might come up to about $8,500 for the whole package. If we did it for 75 people, and obviously for the postcard, that would be all households regardless. And the Zoom would not be limited to physical surroundings. And the coffee hour wouldn't either, but for the events that are based in a room where people are eating together, something like that, it would come up to about 12,000. So we could make a lot of headway spending the money in ways that I think the trust funds intend us to be doing it. And we would be well within our budget. Yes, Amy.
So I just wanted to let you know that I did a little research, just jumping back to the tea party.
Yeah.
And they did do a tea party and around Mother's Day, and it was a very low turnout.
Really?
So yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that, just in case.
Was it a catered event with the traditional English tea?
That's what they told me, that it was a catered event.
All right.
And
it would be good. It'd be good to look into who did it, because I struggled to find places that do it. There's one up in the North Shore, but they don't cater.
Yeah.
I asked them, and this one's in Belmont. But that would be good information to have before we move forward on anything like that.
And the other one too, if we do use the patrons trust, we don't want to exclude. So if a tea party tends to be geared more towards women, we want to kind of open it to both men and women. You know what I mean? Because I just kind of reread everything quickly. So that was the advice that I was given. And yeah, so just, I did have a couple other ideas that we can talk.
That'd be great.
Offline too.
That'd be great. Again, these were just to get the discussion going and to think about ways we might be spending the money.
Great.
For the tea party, I was thinking actually it would be worth our making a trip to Belmont and trying out their tea party before we went forward. It would be quite an event if we did it. So we would not want to have trays and trays of really nasty sandwiches. Bitter tea, that would be sad, very sad.
Yeah.
So we would have to do a little quality control testing before we get into that sort of an event. All right, but I wanted everyone to think about it. And I also wanted just to encourage everyone, please be thinking about other ideas that you think would be good. I'm probably the worst person on this because, since I'm working, the Pleasant Street Center is not available to me or anyone else with a job that's 9 to 5 for that matter. So it's hard to have a sense of what people might like to eat and drink. But for those of you who are there and participate and know firsthand how a lot of these things have gone, please start sharing ideas on events. We've got the money, we've got the mandate to do things to support social needs of the elderly in Reading. We've got the mandate to be doing outreach work. With Burbank, we've got the mandate just to spend money, but presumably for the good of the elderly.
Did you notice that Mark's had his hand up for a while?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you. Hi, Mark. What?
Thanks, John. Thanks, Marilyn. So to Nancy's point on postcard and messaging and talking about survey and context, a couple of the members of Recalc chatted today about the possibility of creating a video to record that might be available on YouTube, but perhaps also on RCTV that could explain the process a little bit, what we're planning to do, and use that as an outreach tool also. And then obviously the cost of that is zero.
Yeah, that sounds good, Mark.
Mhm.
We do hear that we've got a fair number of seniors who don't have access to the internet, so the YouTube, could be either one could be a challenge, but certainly we've got plenty who also do. So it might not serve everyone, but for those it does serve, it could be a lot of fun to watch.
That would be on RCTV as well. So on the cable TV. So I think, more people may have access to that than the internet.
It's possible, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm at an elderly housing complex, and access to the internet is a difficulty for a lot of people. They don't have that. It's not easily accessible. It's expensive. So if we could do more through the TV, record it or have that event, it opens it up, particularly to the most vulnerable, probably are not Zoom connected or savvy enough. And those are the ones that you're most trying to reach.
Sounds great. All right, if I'm not tremendously mistaken, I think we have covered our agenda. And it's only 7:42. Let's see, where are we? Scroll all the way back up on it. Amy, can we follow up maybe tomorrow by email and see about maybe setting up a meeting to talk about moving forward on, some of the ideas?
Sure, I can. I can't meet tomorrow, but I can talk about meeting. I just have a couple things.
Yeah, and again, I'm off work at 4:15, so by Zoom I could be available at 4:16.
Tomorrow?
No, anytime, any day.
Okay.
Not tomorrow. I meant tomorrow. Could we talk about setting up a time?
Sure.
All right, and I think we have now covered. Yes, we have covered everything on our agenda. Does anyone have anything else that they would like us to address this evening? Trying to get back so I can see you all again. Ah, there you are. No, then John, do you want to make your favorite motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Joan, you're muted. Are you trying to second it?
I'll second the
I
motion.
second it.
Okay.
Karen is too.
All right. Let me call the roll. Barbara Carney,
Yes.
Joan Coco,
Yes.
Sally Hoyt.
She's
Sally,
muted.
you're muted. Can you unmute yourself, Sally? Can you unmute yourself?
I don't think she knows how to.
No.
I know.
Yeah, can she give a
Yes.
thumbs up?
Can you give a thumbs up? Can you give a thumbs up? Okay.
Here we go. 2 thumbs
Okay.
up.
Two
Okay.
thumbs up.
That's
All
even
right.
better.
Whoops. Going down the wrong line here. Sorry, got my checklist confused. John Parsons,
Yes.
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. And so we are adjourned at 7:45. I think it's a
Well
record.
done, Marilyn.
It's a record.
Hey,
And hopefully
Nice job.
as many of you as can at the March 30th joint meeting. And then we'll have our regular April meeting as well.
Great.
okay.
And come on down and meet Fidel on the 30th, coffee at the center, 9 o'clock in the morning.
You beat me to the punch.
Okay.
And actually, he's at the YMCA on Wednesday
Yes.
from 8:30
Yes.
to 11 if anyone's over by the Y. So, all right. Are you raising your hand, Nancy? Or are you
Nancy?
putting your
No,
hand-
no, I was getting ready to leave.
Okay. Have a great evening, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. It's so good to see you, Sally.